Hi, this is Gilbert Gottfried. I'm here with my co-host Frank Santopadre, and this is Gilbert and Frank's Amazing Colossal Obsessions. Now, two bits of business. Last time we didn't mention it, but rest in peace, Five-ish Finkel.
Oh, yes, Five-ish Finkel passed. Right.
He would have been a great guest.
Yeah, we didn't get to him, sadly.
And last time I was on here, I mentioned that I was looking for the Pontiac commercial.
Oh, somebody found it.
Yes.
Yes.
I got three names who had found it. Jason Abram, John E.L. Tenney, and Sarah Ryan. And I saw the commercial. I haven't seen it since
Is Leo
I was
Gorcey in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know the one you mean.
See, I remembered Elijah Cook Jr., Lon Chaney Jr., and Broderick Crawford. But also in it is Mike Mazursky.
Oh, Mazurki.
Yeah. And Robert Strauss.
Oh.
And the last person you see there is Leo Gorcey.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's a very weird.
I think there's a whole series of those. I'll send you a website. There's a whole series of Pontiac commercials from that era.
There was one with Louis Nye, Tom Poston, and Don Knotts.
Oh, the Steve Allen crew.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fascinating.
Oh, and one with Victor Borga.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we got to dig those out.
What was the era of these things?
In the 60s. What'd you say, early 60s, Gil?
Yeah.
Do we know who the creative force was behind the
No, we do not.
Maybe I can
that's
find
our
something
researcher, Paul Rayburn, speaking, obviously. Paul is here with us. Five-ish Finkel would have been great, and he could have told us about the Yiddish theater.
Oh,
we touched on it
yeah.
a little bit with Marilyn Michaels.
Yeah.
But, as I always say, when prospective guests pass, we can't get to everybody.
But like I always say, hey, what's the rush?
Right. Exactly.
Stop and smell the flowers.
So we're going to deviate here. We've been doing a lot of one-hit wonders, but we're going to do something different. We're going to talk about 1966, a year in television.
Okay.
Because it's interesting. Batman. It's the anniversary. It's the 50th anniversary of Batman. The last 2 weeks was the 50th anniversary of both Star Trek and the Monkees.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people posted on social media, and the Green Hornet by the same company.
Yes.
Greenway that made Batman. So I went to Wikipedia and I said, I looked at what other shows debuted in '66, and it's quite a list. So I wanted to see how many of these you actually remember, or might ring a bell. And Paul is here with us. A couple of these. Do you remember Batfink? Karate?
I remember the title.
It was a Batman knockoff. It was a spoof created by an animation director named Hal Seeger. Batman, of course, is on the list. This is an alphabetical list, so I'm just going to go through these and see which you remember. Now, a previous guest, Chuck McCann,
yes,
did voices for an animated series that premiered in '66.
And that was Cool McCool.
Very good.
Yes.
Cool McCool.
Pen I use for my secret messages.
There's Frank dialing up Cool McCool.
Sorry, I guess some of my secrets leaked out.
It does sound like Jack Benny.
Double, triple alert.
Yeah, that's actually that's Bob McFadden, right?
Bob McFadden.
That's Cool McCool.
So tell us about the voice, because I always thought it was Chuck McCann.
So Chuck McCann did many of the characters, but Bob McFadden did McCool and I think one other. And he did say right from the start that he was modeling them after Jack Benny.
Interesting.
And of course, you knew this, Frank, but one of the creators of Cool McCool was Bob Kane.
Yep.
Who was also one of the creators of Batman.
Yep. And a guy named Al Brodax.
There was an old cartoon. I remember just like one episode, it may have been a Warner Brothers, where it was a caveman and his pet dinosaur. And they modeled that after Jack Benny.
Really?
And they had a guy doing a great Jack Benny imitation.
You don't know the name of it?
No, I don't.
We will put that out to our listeners.
Yeah.
Maybe I can find something, too. What do we know about it?
I know it may have been Warner Brothers, but I'm not positive. And it was a caveman who looked and talked like Jack Benny, and he had a pet dinosaur. It was just one episode.
Speaking of Jack Benny, did you know our guest tonight, Bob Einstein, his dad, Park Your Carcass, Harry Einstein, did a series called, it was called Meet Me at Parky's, and it co-starred Frank Nelson.
Oh, my God.
And we didn't. we neglected to ask Bob about that. Let's go through some of these other shows from '66, and we'll see what Paul has on them, and we'll see what you remember. A show called Daktari, Daktari, by Ivan Tors, the guy that did all the animal shows, Gentle Ben, and he did Flipper.
Yeah, no, wasn't there a movie, Daktari, or something like that?
I don't know
like-
that there was a movie. It was about a doctor in Africa saving animals, protecting animals from
But
poachers.
why, for some reason, I'm thinking
So wildlife.
Daktari, a movie, and Henry Mancini. Is that?
Look it
let's
up, my
look it up.
friend.
Let's
I
check
could
it
be
out.
mistaken.
You're thinking of Mondo Cane.
I'm staying in the D's here, and here's a favorite of yours, Gil. Dark Shadows premiered
Oh,
in 1966.
That was anything to do with monsters. I would watch anything to do with horror.
Even though it was a soap,
oh,
really.
yes.
It was an afternoon soap.
And even as a kid, though, I remember watching it going, this is really shit. Yeah.
Well, it was soap opera budget, right? It was. They had to churn them out.
Zero budget.
Yeah, with Jonathan Frid as Barnabas Collins.
And Jerry Lacey, who would later on play Humphrey Bogart.
Oh, my God.
With Woody Allen.
That's right.
And play it against Sam. There is one, I remember watching this on TV. He's playing like a high priest, and he's doing this, chant over a grave. And a fly is buzzing around his face and crawling on his nose. And it's like, he can't interrupt the scene and slap the fly away. So he's trying to be dramatic, and the fly is like walking into his nostril.
The stuff you remember. And David Selby, right, we talked about before, was Quentin the werewolf.
Who would later be in that cop one.
Yeah, the Super Cops.
Yes.
With Ron Liebman, who's coming up on the show.
And one thing I have in common with David Selby, both of us played Abraham Lincoln.
That's right. You played him in A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Yes, and he did it in some TV musical about the life story.
Fascinating. What do you got, Paul?
Daktari, what I was thinking of was Hatari.
Hatari. I think that's a Howard Hawks movie.
That's, I'm not sure, but that's a Baby Elephant Walk. That gave us Baby Elephant Walk.
Yes,
That was Mancini.
Hatari.
And has absolutely nothing to do with Daktari.
Right.
Nothing at all.
Right. And then there was Mogumbo.
Don't talk for the rest of the show.
Yeah. I thought you might be unhappy with it.
All right, let's see if we can stump Gilbert with this one. How about The Double Life of Henry Fife with red buttons?
Oh God!
Mean anything?
Yes, I do remember the title, and I remember him being in it. But boy, I don't remember anything else.
Sort of
about
a Get Smart knockoff kind of a thing. Only went 17 episodes. A game show called I Guess, EYE, hosted by Bill Cullen. Does that mean anything to you?
No.
Mel Brooks. I saw Mel Brooks recently at Radio City, by the way. He had a great Bill Cullen story.
Oh, yes.
Which I'll tell you off the air.
I heard that
You've
one.
heard that one.
Yeah.
Here's a family affair we all know.
Oh, yeah.
With Sebastian Cabot and Brian Keith, also debuted in 1966. How about this cartoon, Frankenstein Jr. and the Impossibles? Does that mean anything to you?
Frankenstein Jr.?
He was a big robot, and he had a kid. There was a kid named Buzz Conroy. And his father was the inventor of a Frankenstein robot.
See, now what?
Ted Cassidy was the voice of the of the Frankenstein.
See, what I remember as a kid was the Milton the Monster Show.
Oh my God, that has to be even older than 66.
And it was like a goofy-looking Frankenstein, and the guy doing the voice was obviously imitating Jim Nabors.
Of course, as you would.
Yeah. And I think the theme song was something like, "It's creepy, it's spooky, it's altogether kooky, the Milton the Monster Show. Now let's take a trip upon the hill and get to the Beware of the troubles upon the way, or you may take a spill.
Wow. The Milton the Monster Show. What do you got on that, Paul? Anything?
Check it out. Let me see what I can find. Go on to the next
All right,
one.
Oh, and he goes, 2 drops of essence of terror, 3 drops of sinister sauce. When the stirring's done, can I lick the spoon? Ha ha, of course.
Now, you probably haven't seen that in 45 years.
Yes, and I remember
you
the
remember
words.
the lyrics.
Gilbert is pretty close on the timing. That debuted on ABC in 1965.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
So that's
very
close.
good.
Ran through 68. Produced and directed by Hal Seeger.
Hal Seeger, same guy who was
Again.
behind Batfink.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to move on since Gilbert doesn't
and
remember Ted
Bob
Cassidy.
McFadden was in the cast.
Bob McFadden. All right, so let's
Milton the
get the Bob
Monster Show.
McFadden thing
Right.
out of the way.
I got to
Right.
tell you, what's amazing about Bob McFadden.
Go ahead. Go, Frank.
His son Brian has the identical voice, and Brian's a great stand-up comedian.
Okay.
He's here a lot doing commercials. He was the Serta Sleep Sheep in that campaign. I think that might even still be running. But is the spitting image of his father's voice. It's absolutely amazing.
And his father was the voice of Cool McCool, was not Chuck McCann,
And
which I thought all these years.
And another son who's big in voiceovers is the son of Art Carney.
Oh, yeah, Brian. Brian's great.
Oh, Brian Carney.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's very big in voiceover.
Yeah, he does tons of voiceover, and he also does on camera. Do you remember the Tide to Go commercial where there's a talking stain on a guy's shirt when he's trying to do a job interview? The boss in that
Oh,
campaign
yes.
is Brian Carney.
And
that funny?
I actually can say I worked with Art Carney in a commercial, even though we never actually were together. There were these series of commercials from ESPN where they reenacted the talking dogs. And I mean, not the card playing dogs.
Oh, okay.
And they had it set up with these actual dogs that look like the ones, but real dogs and
Like from the
dressed
bad
up.
paintings.
And it was me, Art Carney, and oh Jesus, someone were talking about getting on.
What was he in?
The Gary Shandling show.
Oh, Jeffrey Tambor.
Jeffrey Tambor. Yeah, Jeffrey Tambor, Art Carney, and me. in
But
a
you recorded
commercial.
separately.
Yes.
Oh, too bad. Well, it would have been great to
And
meet
I
Art
gotta
Carney.
say, Brian Carney still has the raccoon hat.
Oh,
Does he
oh,
really?
Yep.
wow.
That's also great trivia.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
He's a
Fantastic.
great guy. Great guy.
All right, I'm going to jump ahead to the G's. Anybody remember The Girl from Uncle, which was a spinoff of The Man from Uncle?
I do remember that. I don't think I ever watched
Stephanie
it.
Powers.
Yes.
Stephanie
Yeah.
Powers. That's
I
right.
remember that, but I don't think I've ever
29
seen
episodes and a great theme song by the legendary Jerry Goldsmith.
For The Girl from Uncle.
The Girl from Uncle. The Green Hornet we talked about. I posted it on Facebook, 66. Last week, I think it debuted 50 years ago. Here's a show called Hawk with Burt Reynolds.
Oh, was he a detective?
He was a detective who was a genuine Iroquois.
Oh.
Because I think the real Burt Reynolds has some Indian heritage. So that was a series. It co-starred an actor, Bruce Glover. You know Bruce Glover? He's Christian Glover's dad.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and he's one of the 2 hitmen in Diamonds Are Forever.
Oh,
You'd
geez.
recognize him if you saw him, and he's still around.
I got a couple of other cast members from
Go.
that show. Robert Duvall
Was
Wow.
on Hawk?
on Hawk and Martin Sheen.
Were they guest stars or
Well, no
regulars?
cast. They list Burt, Robert, Martin, and then Bruce Glover.
Wow.
What
Hawk.
a
That's pretty
cast.
high
That
power.
was
Yes,
before
amazing.
he did Dan August with your favorite, Norman Fell.
Oh, that's right.
Here's one. Hey, Landlord. Does that mean anything?
Oh, God.
This is Gary Marshall's first show, the first sitcom that Gary Marshall, I guess, created, starring Will Hutchins of Sugarfoot fame, who's still with us,
Yeah.
and the late Sandy Barron, a comic I always liked
Now,
from Broadway Danny Rose.
There was now I'm all of a sudden remembering a TV show starring Richard Castellano.
Oh, God. Yeah. Was it the Dumplings?
Maybe they were like an Italian family.
Well, there was the Montefuscos that Bill Persky created.
Yeah.
Is that the one you're thinking of?
I don't know. I
Okay,
just
Paul-
remember.
Paul's.
Richard Castellano was. That's
Yeah.
what I'm
I
looking
think
for?
Richard Castellano did a show called Joe and Sons. I think, unless I'm having a brain episode. We'll come back to it. Let's jump. So Hollywood Squares, hosted by our
yes.
friend Peter Marshall, one
Yes,
of my favorite
yes.
episodes that we've done of this show, premiered in 1966. And here's one that I know you know because we've talked about it a lot. In fact, Steve Binder, who is another upcoming guest, directed an episode of this. It's In the Eyes, Frankie.
Oh, you mean It's About Time?
Yeah.
Here we go.
It's about time. It's about space. About two guys in the craziest place.
It's about time, it's about flight, traveling faster than the speed of light. Here is their tale of the brave crew.
I posted this on Facebook. It's so much fun. It's clearly the same people that sang the Gilligan's Island.
Oh,
theme.
yes.
Yeah, because
yes.
it's Sherwood Schwartz.
I've got the Richard
and the-
Castellano reference, I think.
Oh, I was just going to say in the writing, the song, too, also sounds a lot like F Troop.
A little bit.
Yeah.
If I know Sherwood Schwartz, he composed the song, too, because he thought that's where the money
Oh,
was.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Joey Ross and Imogene Coca. It's About Time. One of the
Yes.
strangest sitcom
Yeah,
premises
yeah.
in history.
Astronauts land on a planet of...
Well, they go back in time.
Oh, they go back in time.
Yeah,
That's
it's the
right.
prehistoric times. And Imogene Coca is a cave woman. That's a long story.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Richard S. Castellano,
Yeah.
The Super.
The Super.
The Super! That's
Oh,
it!
the landlord, the Super.
That's it!
Oh, the-
That's it!
The Gottfried the Amazing.
Ah!
1972. And let's see, cast members included Margaret Castellano, his daughter.
Wow, Clemenza we're talking about.
Yes.
here.
Clement-
Yeah.
Right, that
For
was the
anybody
same
who doesn't know the
Godfather. Yep,
name.
yep. So that's it.
I think he did a show later in his career called Joe and Sons. So redeem me there, won't you?
me
Or
see
maybe
if I
that
can
was
find-
maybe that was Joe
and
Bologna.
He's the one in The Godfather who says, "Why don't you tell that nice girl,
Girl, you
you
love
love
her.
her?
You-
I love you with all of my heart. If I don't see you, I'm gonna die."
We've taken a strong Italian
My wife
turn
makes me
here.
say that to her. Is that too much information?
He also portrayed the lead Joe Vitale in Joe and Sons.
There we go.
Congratulations.
All right.
Jeez.
All right, Gottfried.
right.
Give
Yes.
you a run for your money. Here we go. We're gonna
Mr. Gallagher. Yes.
So we're going to jump around. We did It's About Time in the Eyes. Just stopping in the Jays briefly, the 1966 was the first year of something near and dear to your heart, the Jerry Lewis MDA Telethon.
Oh my God.
Yes, at night, 50 years old.
Now, but wasn't it originally Martin and Lewis did it?
Well, I have here, and again, Wikipedia, not always totally reliable, but the Jerry Lewis MDA Labor Day Telethon by that name, probably was just Jerry
Yeah.
as a solo, premiered in 66, so 50 years ago this year.
And they got rid of him. They got rid of Jerry Lewis.
Yeah.
And it's like, but the thing is, when you think about the telethon, no one says the muscular dystrophy. You say the Jerry Lewis telethon.
That's right. That's right. Okay,
Did,
here's
did you see the big interview with Jerry in the Times?
Oh yeah.
the
by the
LA
way?
Times. Yeah.
New York
And he-
Times.
Was it New York Times?
I think it was New York
And
Times.
he brought up Day the Clown Cried, or the interviewer did.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting thing that he would, first time I think in a long time, he's given that kind of interview. You would certainly know you guys better than I would, but
Gilbert knows him. I never met the man.
yeah.
Let's do the K's. Here's a cartoon that I remember, and I may be the only one, but Frankie, hit the theme song.
King Kong, you
Know the name of King Kong.
He never lets me
You
down.
know the fame of King Kong. 10 times as big as on that.
All right, when was the last time you heard that?
That I must have been one when I heard that.
Not chronologically possible, but yeah, the King Kong Show
Yes.
from 1966.
Yes.
Wow.
King Kong getting into
I'm a complete
adventures.
blank.
I think
on
it
that
was
one.
Rankin Bass. You know, you can take a look at that one. But if as memory serves, and I thought, well, I'm either the only idiot who remembers this or Gilbert. But yep, Rankin Bass, 25 episodes.
Wow.
Yeah, from a company called Videocraft. I guess Toei Animation, which was probably Japanese. It was a Japanese English co-production.
Speaking of Japanese-American co-productions, remember the movie The Manster?
Yes, I gave it to you.
Yes.
It's on that collection I just gave you. The Manster. I love the title. Oh,
I remember that's where he opens his shirt in the mirror, and he has an eye on his shoulder.
Oh, that's right. Yes. I've seen clips of it. I've never seen it all the way through. Who's in it?
An eyeball, you mean?
Oh,
A
yeah,
letter
an
I or
eyeball. An eyeball.
The letter I.
Yeah, the letter I. His name was Irving, so he had a cheap tattoo.
I'm going to jump around to in the
Okay.
interest of time.
All
There was
right.
an animated Laurel and Hardy series that debuted in 1966, which I
Very vaguely.
don't remember. We'll come back to that in a
They
future
had
episode.
a bunch of those celebrity cartoon things, like they had the Three Stooges
Right.
cartoons.
There was the one David Lander did with Jerry Lewis. Will the
Oh,
real Jerry Lewis,
yes.
the one Drew always talks about.
Yes.
Was that called Will the real Jerry Lewis please sit down?
Oh, man, I think so.
Yeah.
And then
With Squiggy.
there, of course, was the Beatles cartoon.
Yep. And then, of course, the Abbott and Costello one after Lou had died.
Oh, that's right.
With Stan Irwin. Was it Stan Irwin or Stu
Oh.
Irwin? Stan Irwin, I think, doing the voice of Lou Costello.
And what I remember with the Beatles one is they didn't even bother. Maybe they didn't even know that at that point what the Beatles sounded like. So they were just doing like typical English accents.
Right. Yeah.
So John Lennon sounded like, what's his name? That actor talks like that.
James Mason?
No.
Oh, Ronald Coleman.
Ronald Coleman.
Toucan
Yes,
Sam.
yes, yeah. John Lennon's voice is like, yes, boys, let's go and play our next song.
Ringo sounds like Robert Morley.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid and being so disappointed to find out that wasn't the actual Beatles.
Yeah, especially in Yellow
And
Submarine.
Yellow Submarine, too. Yeah.
Because there I was convinced
Yep.
it was them.
Do you remember a show called Love on a Rooftop with Judy Carn and the
Oh.
late Pete Dool?
Oh my God! I remember the. I don't remember watching it. I remember the show. I remember the title. Pete Dool. He was also in Alien Smith,
Alias Smith and Jones, yeah, with
and
Ben Murphy.
he commits suicide.
I think on Christmas Eve or Christmas
Yeah.
Day, I think he shot himself.
South Korean. That's a South Korean show.
Which is?
2000. A Love on a Roof. Oh no, I'm sorry. Love on a Rooftop.
That was South Korean?
not that one. There was another Love on a Rooftop in 2015, a South Korean television drama.
No, Love on a Rooftop, I think, and I don't even know if I have the years right. It almost sounds like it was a knockoff of Barefoot in the Park.
Oh, yeah.
I think Nipsey Russell was in Love on a Rooftop. I think he was the wacky neighbor. You want to dig into that one, Paul? And I'll jump around here. The Marvel Superheroes cartoon.
All I remember
debuted
of that
in
is
66.
the Marvel superheroes have arrived.
A transistored superhero. Yeah, that was the theme song. The theme song kicks ass, but the animation was from Hunger.
I remember too. They used to have that daily show of Marvel heroes.
That's the show.
Yeah.
The Marvel Superheroes.
And I remember
It was Captain America on
Yes,
a Monday.
yes.
It was Iron Man on a Tuesday, or the Hulk. No, it was, I think,
Yeah.
the Hulk, and then Iron
he's
Man on a
Bruce Banner turns into
Glamour
the Hulk.
Something, ain't he glamorous?
And what they would do there,
People will
and
send us the lyrics now.
they would have a still, a drawing of Spider-Man, and start shaking the picture up
they were
and down.
Really cheap animation.
Yeah, and it's like you'd have like what's his name throw his
When Captain America throws his mighty shield. Right.
all who chose
those
to
who
oppose his shield must yield.
Right.
So when he would throw the shield, you'd have a picture of a shield, and the camera would go by.
Yep.
Rather than animation.
Right.
Those were so.
Well, they were
fucking
stills.
hard.
They were
Yeah.
they were basically comic strip panels, cheaply animated.
Yeah, and you'd shake the pictures or zoom in and out. If that was a fight scene, they'd zoom in and out.
Frankie, can you find the Marvel Superheroes theme from 66? Maybe we'll go out on that one.
Let me check it out.
What did you want to know about Love on a Rooftop? Now I got a little bit here.
Yeah.
Peter Duell.
Peter Duell, who committed suicide.
Okay, Judy Carn.
Yeah.
And
Please tell me it was Nipsey Russell.
one of the was, let's see, which I don't see him in.
Damn
here.
it! Maybe
But
Nipsey was in the Barefoot in
One
the
of the
Park
composers
spinoff.
was Mundell Lowe.
Well,
Why do I know that name? Do we know?
know.
wasn't there a black Barefoot in the Park? I know there was a black Odd Couple.
Well, maybe there was something with maybe you're thinking the one with Scoey Mitchell.
I'm pretty sure there was a black
We'll put that
Barefoot
out
in the
there.
Park.
We'll put that out there. Going quickly through the M's, the Mighty Heroes, which is another cartoon that we'll talk about on a future show. Mission Impossible debuted in 1966.
Mission
Wow.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Wow, one
and
of the
and
greats.
and I've
This
got
month.
I've got a connection there because the music was done by what the fuck's his name? Oh God,
Lalo Schifrin.
Lalo
Schifrin.
Schifrin.
Very
Yeah.
good, Frank.
and Lalo Schifrin also did the music for Bad Medicine.
Which you were in.
Yes.
Was Richard Pryor in that?
No, that was another you.
Oh, that was Critical Condition. This may be the this is arguably the best TV theme song of all time.
Oh, yeah. And how many times...
For the music fans, this is in the time signature of 5/4, which is very unusual.
And how many times have, like, comedy shows and movies as a joke put in the Mission Impossible?
Lots of
right,
I'm sure
yeah.
the Schifrin family was collecting, hopefully. So we'll stop at the M's because there's so many shows here. We'll do a second episode. And we'll go from N to the end. What do you got,
Leonard
Paul?
Nimoy was also, I'd forgotten this.
He was
had made some
Paris.
appearances in Mission Impossible.
He was a regular.
That's right.
He was Paris.
That's right.
Yeah. Stephen Hill was the original. I also like the Hawaii Five-0 theme, but the Mission Impossible theme is pretty
That's
fucking
really
cool.
a classic,
It really
yeah,
is.
yeah.
So let's stop at and then the Monkees and a show called the Monroes. Do you remember the Monroes?
Oh, wait. Was that Monkeys? And then?
No. The
No?
Monkees debuted 50 years ago this month.
But there was a show with monkeys.
Oh, with monkeys.
Yes.
The Monroes. I don't think so. I think it was a family. I think it was a period show about a family. Take us out on the Monroes, Paul, and then we'll come back and we'll do another episode. We'll do N through Z in celebrating 1966.
Monroe's is a tough one because there's like a million Monroes.
All right,
in
we'll
here.
come back to it. We'll start the next episode with it. So that wraps up 1966, A through M. A great year in television.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and we haven't even gotten to some of these yet. Frankie? An aquatic superhero.
This has been Gilbert and Frank's Amazing Colossal Podcast.
No, Obsessions.
Oh, God! Fuck. This has been Gilbert and Frank's Amazing Colossal Obsessions, and I'm going to go home and watch Lon Chaney, Burgess Meredith, Elijah Cook Jr., Mike Mazurki,
And the Manster.
Robert Strauss, and Leo Garcia in the Pontiac commercial.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next time with part 2 of Television 1966.
Colossal Obsessions.